Hello everyone and welcome back to Spoiler Warning. My name is Tom Colohue, wow, with the crazy hair. And there's one thing I love, is when I get my Dixon cider. We are talking wrestling news today and there is still, as always, plenty of it to talk about. Our headlines are not about Mercedes money for once, which is always going to be very refreshing. We're talking Roman Reigns running low on WWE dates and how the WWE plan to fill that gap. We are talking the success of the big TNA relaunch. It has happened, it is happening, and it will continue to happen. There's more to come, but we finally got a new look at what TNA will be looking like going forward. We're going to talk Cora Jade, the injury that she has now received and how that's going to impact her going forwards. We're going to talk Naomi, particularly as regards the report from PWInsider, which is consistent with my reporting and a number of different reports as well that we will cover. We're going to talk briefly the Vince McMahon documentary and Jack Perry, who is now landed in TNA but is not necessarily done with AEW. So, plenty, as always, to be going through. We will, yes, be talking ever so slightly about Mercedes because we'll be talking about an offer that was made by TNA, though it's not really an offer per se. So very briefly, for those Mercedes fans who are here every week asking the question, it's very, very small. Don't get too excited. I want to say a big welcome to everyone who's already in the chat. Spider-Boss is asking about Cora Jade. Rocky is saying Cora Jade is always injured. Rocky, can you list me all of Cora Jade's injuries for me? Chris says, good evening, Tom. Listen to the show while in the grocery shop. See, that's when you know you've made it, you know? That's when you know you've absolutely nailed it, because people have you in their ear wherever they go. I literally cannot get out of ears. I'm coming in everyone's ear right now. You can hear me in the radio, in the show, in the podcast, whatever you want to call it. I'm coming. Joey says, hi Tom. Hello, Joey. Spider-Boss says, it's difficult to believe it's the year of Bayley, basically because she keeps losing matches and there isn't much hype on her moment. Year's like a long time, mate. Year's a long time. Also, do you remember when it wasn't the year of Judgment Day? But it was. So, Vic, how you doing, mate? Always like a thumbs up. Stuart says, evening all. Leon says, hello to the legendary Tom Colohue. Hope you're doing well. I don't think I've quite achieved legend, though I did once play the game Destiny, and the tagline is Become Legend. Huge thanks to Michael for subscribing for a 35th month. You are literally the measuring stick that reminds me how long I've been doing this, sir. Thank you kindly. Wiggly is here saying, yo, 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 yo. Yo, but also all caps, so he's shouting it. Pardon me. Bailey says, hello, Tom. Spider-Boss says, Trinity lost the TNA KO title. I guess she's going back to WWE. More on that shortly. Rob and Dave say, hey, Tom, how you doing? Doing well, thank you, Rob and Dave. Welcome to the show. Joey says, according to Meltzer, not Meltzer. Sylvic says, hello, Tom. Is it true that Damian Priest would cash in tonight? I'm not aware of where that rumour's come from. Also, any other surprises besides Naomi in the Rumble? A week ago, we covered all of the surprises that I'm expecting in this year's Royal Rumble. I also fantasy booked both the men's and the women's on PLE Wednesdays, which you can check out now. Hello, Michael. Ross says, evening, everyone. Evening, Ross. Juan says, hey, Tom, thanks for the Mercedes money news. Now I'm confident. Boss says, speedy recovery for Cora Jade. Noob says, evening, Mr. Colohue. Joey says, I think Meltzer is clickbaiting with the Roman report. He wasn't advertised for last year's Chamber, but still worked this show. As I covered on Friday, I will be repeating on this one as well. Carl says, good day, Tom. At work, but here, everyone remember to click the thumbs up. Thank you kindly. Joey, the report that I've got, as regards Naomi, and I believe the very first one, did not come from Meltzer. No worries, Joey. That's where I was going for. I don't know what you're referring to there, Dan, gotta say. So he says, Boozer said apparently Damian Priest would cash in and have confetti and pyro. Boozer says a lot of things. Razar says, hi Tom, really loved your video from yesterday, really informative, especially about how sourcing works, learned a lot, great work, man. I'm very, very happy to see so many people enjoying WTF wrestling. It's a lot about media literacy and just explaining how media in general works. We talk about it quite a bit here, but this is a live show. This is not my focus, as it were. WTF, I'm able to go into a lot more detail and really quite enjoy it. So I'm glad other people are enjoying it as well. I also particularly enjoyed the part where I had to point out that my reporting is often third source. So I'm not immune from any of the crap I was slinging at everyone, including myself. Spider-Boss says, do you think that after WrestleMania we can see the break of the Judgment Day? Yes, we could. We also could not. Who knows? Ross says Jinder should win and Priest cash in. Why? Oh, okay, Dan. Oh, you mean yeah, it's cold. It's -2 degrees here. Sean says, hi Tom. Welcome, Sean. And Robin Dave says, I find it funny that Ringside are claiming a Royal Rumble victory for MJF. Ringside news, for those not aware, did feature in WTF Wrestling this week. You might want to check it out. I do feel that a lot of the confusion people are experiencing when it comes to reports on Mercedes money, just to be clear, is because they're looking at so many different sources who are interpreting the same report instead of going to the report. Also, it's difficult to go to the report when it's behind a paywall, so there is actually an income limit to get the information straight from the source. Even the rumour killer was behind a paywall. So it's difficult at times, and a lot of people do trust other sources who are reinterpreting it. I try to expose a lot of that reinterpretation as well. And when it comes to the whole concept of, news in general, public interest, that's why it's so important to me that my news is always going to be free. You can always get straight to it and know exactly what I've said. Sean says Cora Jade was injured at an NXT live event. More on that shortly. So our first news report will be about Roman Reigns. Bear with me just 1 second. Still not 100%. I'm going to drink some cider. We have 60 people watching and only the 25 likes. Please remember to hit that thumbs up as we get into talking Roman Reigns. So, Dave Meltzer is reporting that Roman Reigns is only working the Royal Rumble PLE before WrestleMania. As regards PLEs, there is talk potentially of matches actually taking place on TV. This is not inconsistent with Roman Reigns for several reasons. Firstly, I do want to say, as regards Dave Meltzer, anytime he reports anything as regards the schedule of Roman Reigns, he has been proven accurate. So he's been doing pretty good in that regard. And, sources do sort of prove themselves based on how well they do. So we have to give a certain amount of benefit of the doubt here. But this is also consistent with Roman Reigns in general. So there's quite a bit we need to dive into here. Roman Reigns overworked at the beginning of 2023. In that period between the beginning of the year and getting to actual WrestleMania, he worked far more often than he was originally slated to, and that balancing act was not entirely balanced. Thank you very kindly for subscribing on the YouTube side, Jay Wilson. Welcome to the show. Ask whatever questions you would like. As regards Roman, because he worked more dates at the beginning of the year, that meant he wasn't able to work dates later in the year. This is also why the Sami Zayn match happened and why he wasn't initially planned for Elimination Chamber. The match with Sami Zayn was not supposed to happen at all, but fans were screaming out for more as regards a Roman versus Sami match and potentially a Roman versus Sami feud. We got the match, the feud didn't really keep going, but this is also why WrestleMania Night 1 main event was changed from Charlotte versus Rhea to the Tag Team Championship match because of the response that Sami Zayn was getting. Pardon me. The fans won a battle there. The fans should pat themselves on the back if you're a Sami Zayn fan. What this did mean, though, is that we saw less of Roman Reigns in the later year. He'd been involved in Elimination Chamber. He'd also been involved in the build-up to Elimination Chamber, meaning he was working dates at the beginning of the year instead of working them in the later year. This is also true of the years in general. The WWE general way of working with limited date contracts is they give you a set number of dates and then they say at the beginning of the year, we'd like to have a few more this year and a few less next year. This happened with Edge, for example, who overworked certain times and underworked at other times to compensate for it, hence his regular breaks. Randy Orton being out injured as long as he has been, he's on a limited date contract. The WWE have banked those dates. So we're going to see plenty of Randy Orton potentially on Raw and SmackDown and indeed NXT at times. When it comes to Roman Reigns, he has overworked a number of years by small amounts and the chickens are coming home to roost. That means in 2024 we are likely to see less of Roman Reigns, or at least as much of Roman Reigns as we saw after WrestleMania in 2023. free. This is another one of the reasons that we are getting a fatal four-way. The WWE is simply not confident we're going to have the time for Roman versus Randy, Roman versus AJ, Roman versus LA Knight 2. We are not going to have time for those because of the low number of dates that he's had. That means we can throw them all together and still have ourselves what's called a good old-fashioned party. His contract is not necessarily due to expire soon, but it is due to expire. There is a limit to the amount of work that Roman Reigns is doing. And this is entering the 4th year of his contract very shortly. The initial contract is believed to be more than 4 years. We're looking at in and around 5. But that does depend on how many dates he's actually working. Because if he works all of his dates in, let's say, 2 years, that 5-year contract is a 2-year contract. And this actually happened with Brock Lesnar quite recently, which is why we've not seen a lot of him. When he does return, it will likely be with a new deal. But SummerSlam is always sort of a sign-off for Brock Lesnar anyway. He was overused when it comes to the Cody Rhodes angle, and that's why we didn't see him for the rest of the year. Limited date contracts can be, at times, a double-edged sword. We have 28 likes so far and 68 people here. 2 more likes gets us to 30. Can you be the 2 in... 2? I didn't have a punchline. I launched into this thinking I'd have a punchline. Anyway, let's read some chat to cover for my embarrassing mistake there. Spider-Boss says, I feel bad for guys as SRS and Andrew Zarian. People don't pay attention about the Mercedes money news. Isn't that difficult to understand what is happening with Mercedes? It's not, but as I say, if people are looking at lots of different sources who are reinterpreting what they're saying, that explains why they're getting confused. I went into a lot of different sources and what's being incorrectly interpreted, and it starts to make sense why people might be confused by that. Richard Upton says, Bill Apter of Sportskeeda says Brock vs Undertaker could happen at WrestleMania 40. It absolutely couldn't. Joey says, I saw people blaming Cora Jade's injury on the PC training style being rough. Do you think that's true? No. I think she's come back and she's been working a lot in a very short space of time, but more on that short story later. Chris said this is also why when reading a news story, go to multiple sources to make sure the story is legit. Absolutely true. Also, make sure you're actually going to multiple sources and you've not gone to multiple sources, all of whom are reporting with the exact same initial source. If you go to, for example, PWInsider, and PWInsider are reporting that Dave Meltzer says this, and if you then go to Dave Meltzer, and Dave Meltzer did in fact say that, that's not 2 sources. That's 1 source. That's just 1 source. Dan says, any idea what the plan is for Jack Perry going forwards? Yep. Noob says, do you enjoy Nick Aldis's role as SmackDown GM? I do. I think he's doing good work in general. Hello, HCar. No news on 2K24 at this point in time. As I said previously, personally, I do expect CM Punk to be on the cover, because if he's not, what the hell are they doing? What the hell are they doing? Gold says, always your news are against WWE. You're one of those guys, aren't you? Gold? News isn't against anyone. If you've actually just heard what I've said, I've explained that Roman Reigns worked extra because the fans wanted a Sami Zayn match. Where's the against? Did you just not pay any attention to what I actually said? Is that what you do? Are you on mute? Are you actually just muting me and you've just decided, hey, we'll attack this guy. He exists. That's punishable by death. Oh, bless you. Sovik says, is it true that Tamina retired? I have no news on Tamina at this point in time. Marcel says, hi Tom and chat, how are you all? Doing well, thank you Marcel, welcome to the show. Did just want to mention that we have broken 5,500 subscribers now. We're up to 5,508. 2 more guesses to 5,510, which, in case you haven't noticed, I would be very happy with. But in general, the target for this year is 1 million views over the course of 2024. Yesterday, we hit our target for the very first time. 2,800 views per day will get us there. Yesterday's the first time we got there. Now, I don't expect to be hitting that every day. Right now, that is nowhere near my average. But if I gain enough momentum, by the end of the year, they will carry me through what is at the beginning of the year. Blah, blah, blah. It's a good day, and it's a good time, and it's a good time to say thank you as well. So thank you. Spider-Bell says, what do you think about the narrative of Cody finishing his story? Fans really want to force Cody into a rematch with Roman. WWE wants that too. He laid it all on the line. He made a point that the entire reason that he was there was to win that championship, you're kind of putting the entire world on blast there, especially when you don't do it. You're still at the mercy of Triple H. And honestly, I feel you might have regretted breaking that golden throne way back then. HCast says, any news on upcoming contracts on WWE superstars? At this point, no, though I have covered it as much as I can in previous spoiler warning shows that you might want to check out. Joey says the Roman schedule is annoying. He keeps missing all of the PLEs outside of the big ones like Mania and SummerSlam. Yep. Razar says the Royal Rumble has only 4 matches announced. Will any more be added? Maybe a women's title match or something. I'm expecting a Rhea Ripley match to be announced. Spider-Boss says, do you have any idea of what the plans for the tag team titles? Nope, and I really don't think the WWE do either. The tag team divisions, both men's and women's, have been kind of forgotten in the general wrestling of it all. We keep hearing from lots of different parties that they're about to break them up or they're about to introduce new championship belts. WWE are religiously reporting that something's about to massively change with the tag team championships. They've been reporting that something's about to happen for about 2 years now. The tag team titles seem to be booked largely as they're going along. Eric says, hey Tom, how you doing? Thoughts and prayers go out to Cora Jade. Robin Dave says, those type of people that don't listen, Tom. That doesn't mean I can't lay into them a little bit. Because I listen and I enjoy. One says, hey Tom, now Sportskeeda reporting Mercedes and Bayley were caught watching Hard to Kill. She must be returning. How's that news? It's not. They weren't necessarily caught. It's not like they were hiding. If they wanted to hide, they could have hidden. HCar says, will you be doing a Raw watch party soon? Unlikely. I do work Tuesdays, so I cannot stay up until 4 a.m. and then wake up at 7 a.m. to go to work. That's just not going to happen. Spider-Bell says, WWE always repeats some history. Cena versus The Rock once in a lifetime. They faced in back-to-back WrestleMania 28 and 29. Yep, they do like to have the occasional repeat. I suspect we may one day soon see a Rock versus CM Punk match. CM Punk is owed a win after all. We have 76 viewers and 41 likes now. 4 more gets us to 45. Just saying. I'm just saying. Joey says, would TNA allow Trinity to appear in the Rumble like they let Mickie James? That will be our 4th piece of news. HCar says, Tom, any news about Bo Dallas? The only news I have is that he is still under contract with the WWE and he will not be playing the character that he was playing. And King Alice says, hey Tom, do you see The Rock at the Royal Rumble? I do not. Especially if CM Punk's going to win it. It would just completely demolish his moment. Bayley, I'm not sure. I haven't actually got around to watching all of TNA. As I say, the family is still sick, so I haven't really even had a chance to rest. I'm still sick myself, hence being wrapped up to the nines. And I also have the full-time job, so I just haven't had a chance yet. It's awkward sometimes being a parent and a UK fan. Yep, absolutely. Thank you, Chris, for pointing out. We do have a sister channel. You can check out Turnbuckle Studios and their Raw Watch Party. Spider-Boss says, I'd prefer watch Roman versus Randy or The Rock at WrestleMania 40 instead of watching a rematch of WrestleMania 39. Some people do, some people don't. Different people like different things. TNA. As we talk about different people liking different things, TNA Total Non-Stop Action is back. And back with a bang. And back with some new names and some new faces. There's a number of different wrestlers that TNA have picked up, including the former Dolph Ziggler, the former Dana Brooke, the former Top Dollar, and the current Jack Perry, Jungle Boy. The backstage section is pretty happy overall with how the show went and the amount of buzz that they were able to create from it. Particularly happy that they were able to have, for example, Mercedes Money and Bayley there to draw some extra eyes as well. I saw plenty of YouTube channels saying, Sasha Banks appears in TNA. Which is kind of like, you've really got to look around and think about what you're doing. But it is kind of true. I just hate it as a concept. Yes, thank you, Joey. Jack Perry was in New Japan. I've got that as a separate piece later on. I just went through the names and I just got excited. I do apologise. Jack Perry was in New Japan. Appreciate you, Joey. I got overexcited there. So, there's a number of people involved in TNA. Dolph Ziggler, the former Dolph Ziggler, the former Dana Brooke, the former Top Dollar. I've got my names in the wrong way. It was New Japan. That is actually a news piece later on. So, TNA, very happy with the name that they brought in. They were trying to get a number of additional names to make appearances. These included Will Ospreay that they weren't able to get in. They were trying to have Mercedes appear as she did at All in Wembley, actually appearing in the crowd, but they weren't able to make that happen. Now, there was a number of wrestlers from AEW who were looking to make appearances in TNA and haven't actually requested that Tony Khan write that into their contracts. This includes Will Ospreay, as I've mentioned, and also includes Jay White. There are a number of other wrestlers that have been contacted through TNA via AEW, such as Samoa Joe, about making appearances in the new TNA. So they are confident they can continue to build what should be a golden age, but their very strong bids for Will Ospreay, for CM Punk, and for Mercedes Money did fail to actually draw the interest they were looking for. Now, when it comes to Mercedes, TNA did want her, and they've not entirely given up, though they are in no way confident that they'll be able to get a signature. They've been told no more than once before. However, discussions did take place at the event with the intention that they were requesting that Mercedes could ask AEW, should she sign an AEW contract, to make TNA appearances. I've spoken to people backstage, and all they've really said is that she didn't commit to anything. So no real news on that one, other than the report that they were asking for it. HCar says, Tom, do you think The Undertaker will come out of retirement for one more match? I hope to God not. Patrick says, hi, Tom. Hope you had a great day. Had a very good day. Thank you, mate. Very good day. Appreciate you. Appreciate you checking in. Blair says, greatest football player turned wrestler and favourite song to sing in the car. I can't drive. Legally, I'm not allowed. So, for those who don't know, I got a car accident when I was, how old was I? 12. I was 12. I was in a car accident when I was 12. There's actually a dint in my skull right here. Because, you know, I wasn't the smartest 12-year-old. And with the car rolling around, hitting the roof and then sliding into another car on the motorway, freeway in the US, at about 50 miles an hour, I wasn't the most comfortable at that point, and made the mistake of, while upside down, taking off my seatbelt. And now I get little tiny blackouts. You guys have actually seen them. I think I had one a moment ago when I squeeze my eyes real tight. It's because I've genuinely forgotten what I'm about to say. It's why I have a little script there. It's why I have this. I genuinely have quite considerable brain damage. So I can't legally drive because I get mini blackouts, and that would potentially mean me killing people, which I don't want to do, personally. As regards greatest football player, literally none of them have come to mind. Dad says, Tom, who do you see winning on Dynamite this week, Hook or Joe? Joe, no question. No question whatsoever. King Alice says, Tom, I think Roman and Rock will have the same crowd reaction as Rock and Hogan at WrestleMania 18. I hope so, because that match, if you watch it on mute, was terrible. The actual wrestling, awful. As a spectacle, incredible. Anyone who says they hate sports entertainment but loves The Rock versus Hulk Hogan, they're lying to you. HCar says, Tom, any news about Elimination Chamber? Nothing really at this point. We're still mostly focused on the Royal Rumble. Blair says, do you think there's any chance of the Mountie coming back to the Royal Rumble? I mean... Rizal says, love seeing TNA do well. This is the most I've seen people care about them in a long time. Chris is wishing happy birthday to Kelly. Kelly turns 37. That is such a small amount older than me. Spiderboss says, Jack Glassboy Perry is back. Glassboy? That's a phrase. Eric says, I personally believe they should strip Roman at this point. I do not. Why would you do that? He hasn't lost the championship. Why would you do that? Very strange. 84 people currently watching, 45 likes, 5 more, get us up to 50. And please do remember that we're looking for 2 new subscribers. If you haven't subscribed, but you enjoyed this news content, please consider doing so. We're looking to get to 5,510 by stream end. Though what I will say, we're gaining quite a bit of momentum on the channel at the moment. Joey says, I wonder what Sheamus will do once he's back. Feels like he has no direction now. That's because he's not on TV, mate. He's not on TV, so of course he has no direction. Cora Jade has reportedly torn her ACL. And this means that she'll be out for most of, if not all, of 2024. Cora Jade did have a long-term plan and a long-term push in play. She was in the motions of being prepared for a push to the main roster, which is obviously a huge positive for someone who has been in NXT for a long time. Triple H is hot on Cora Jade. He's excited to work with her. He wants her on the main roster, particularly with her current metamorphosis, feeling that she'd be a good fit for a team like Damage Control, though this is still in the creative section where they're trying to work out what they would have done. That has all now been scrapped. Cora Jade has been extremely unlucky, and unfortunately, this will have a long-term impact. I do suspect that the next time we see her may well be with a call-up because, pardon me, with NXT plans changing, it just seems as though there won't be room for her when she does in fact return. The main roster beckons, and there's a number of people looking to work with her, including Bayley, who has said to backstage officials that she wants to work with a number of people in NXT. She's very open about that. Cora Jade's name has been mentioned by Bayley as someone that she was looking to work with. Thank you for letting me know, Jack. I could literally see my viewership just sort of plummet ever so slightly. So certainly consistent with what you're saying. Thank you very kindly for letting me know, though. I always appreciate the heads up. Spider-Boss says, do you think we could see Roman versus Nick Aldis this year? We could. I don't think we want to because there's active wrestlers who could do that spot more. H-Car says, do you think Scotty 2 Hottie is coming back to WWE? Nope. And if he makes one appearance at the Rumble, that's not a comeback. Chris says, I met the Mountie back in October. I doubt he returns at the Rumble, given that he's busy running his school and being booked everywhere in Canada these days. He also gets booked in the UK quite a bit, to be fair. I've met him myself, briefly. Riyadh says, hey Tom, hope you and the family are doing well. Doing okay, mate. Doing okay, but I appreciate the check-in. Eric says, I just want a little more active champion. Then watch Seth Rollins, watch Gunter, don't watch Logan Paul. Spider-Boss says, Cora Jade would fit well in Damage Control since she has a good relationship with Bayley. She does indeed. Edward says, hey Tom, hope you didn't mind the clip I posted on Twitter from your Friday show about Bayley. I've just been seeing all the interviews popping up and it was cool you reported it. Yeah, they made her available for pretty much every outlet that was looking for an interview. It does really suggest what's about to happen for her. Yes, she might be losing matches, but so was Sami Zayn before he suddenly wasn't anymore, and he had a very, very good year. Way back when. So I don't mind any clips being publicised. By all means, grab clips and put them out there. It literally says, spoiler warning, with Tom Colohue, the YouTube channel, and the times at the bottom. So grabbing clips and putting them on social media is a fantastic thing and really does help the channel. So I appreciate you. And it's why, of course, I liked and retweeted. If you're posting clips, chances are I'm going to retweet them. Bayley says, as a move for Cora Jade, a now or never decision along the way of Tegan Knox moving up. There will not be a now or never decision because Cora Jade is not available. She is injured. Robin Dave says, I'm ready for the year of Bayley. Me too, mate. I feel like I've been waiting a long time. Michael says, I'd rather take AEW's approach of having 3 challengers to the title at once than a champion who is never there. That I agree with. And for a long time, early in Roman's championship reign, there were a lot of people sort of orbiting around him. That did not last, and certainly over the last year, not good. Josh says at the gym, but I can't miss the spoiler warning. Do a set on that thumbs up, everybody. Do a set on the thumb. Like, hopefully not a set of squats. What are you recommending here, Josh? Glad that you can join us. Glad to see you, sir. Spider-Boss says, do you know if there is main roster plans for Roxanne Perez? At this point in time, I do not. I've not heard anything about that. I think, to be honest, the only reason I got the information I have about Cora Jade is because she's injured and they wanted me to know what the actual plan was. Welcome, Martin. Thank you kindly for renewing your membership. A 15th month, a year and a quarter. You have been with me a long time, haven't you? Welcome to the show. And imagine you're in good mood. I was going to pop into your show after the Newcastle game. Dad says, who do you think is first for CM Punk, Tom? Well, they've introduced quite a few names in there. I think Drew McIntyre is going to be in the list, but I think Seth Rollins long-term will be the big one. Blair says, do you think any newly departed AEW wrestler will appear at the Royal Rumble? No, I don't really think of any newly departed, to be honest. Can't think of many. CM Punk's already signed up. He'll be there. Riyadh says, I know there's a 0% chance, but I really hope Jinder wins tonight. I wouldn't say there's a 0% chance, but I also wouldn't say there's a big chance. I also wouldn't say that. HCar says, Tom, any news about WWE Legends contract? For who? Who are you asking about? Robin Dave says, I could see Randy Orton versus Nick Aldis. That could be fun. I would enjoy that. Someone's doubling up, aren't you, Martin? Doubling up. Thank you kindly for becoming a channel supporter on 2 different channels. I very much appreciate it, and I very much appreciate you. Thank you, sir. King Azza says, hey Tom, do you think they're going to make Cody struggle to get to Roman like in losing the Rumble? It's going to be fun to watch. My prediction is out there. I do not have Cody winning the Rumble. Riyadh says, so you're saying there's a chance? I always say there's a chance, especially when there isn't. Bailey says, is Jim Ross renewing with AEW? Interest in Jim Ross? Very low. Very low. Good to hear, Martin. Very good to hear it. And Chris says he should never hinder Jinder, which I'm hearing a lot recently. So much, in fact, that I'm very confused by it. Naomi. PWInsider have reported that Naomi is not finished with TNA and in fact has more dates to work. This is consistent with the report from Fightful stating that WWE and TNA were actively negotiating, which they would not be doing if Naomi wasn't still under contract with TNA. It's also consistent with my reporting, which is said much the same. I don't believe that Naomi is finished with TNA. Now, there is a number of dates still to work. Some of them are upcoming tapings which will take place before the Royal Rumble but be aired after the Royal Rumble, meaning that she could technically come over to the company from the Royal Rumble and still appear afterwards on TNA, which would be a very good drawing point for TNA, I feel. That said, I do feel we're likely to see a Mickie James sort of situation here. Naomi, from my understanding, does still have some days to work in TNA and does still have interest in working in TNA. So I suspect it's possible she does a little bit of both for a little while, much as Will Ospreay was still contracted to New Japan when he debuted as an AEW wrestler in AEW. The WWE are very strict that this will not happen with them, but they don't mind so much doing it to other people. As regards Naomi, I still think she's likely to appear in the Rumble. All signs point that way. She's just not 100% done with TNA. So the rumours and reports of Naomi appearing at the Royal Rumble, I can confirm are true. The negotiations between WWE and TNA, I can confirm are true. I do believe there will still be some TNA appearances after the fact. Thomas says, hi Tom, is the Rumble excitement starting to build for you yet? Yes and no. Like, it's the Rumble. It's going to peak and it's going to excite me. Also, this is the month where all of the family birthdays go, so I'm trying to organise things for that. Also, still sick, still not had a chance to rest, so I'm not getting hype about anything. Honestly, I just like to sleep. That'd be great. And I'm struggling with that at the moment because I'm coughing my guts up. So, yeah, not yet. Man says JR needs to go home to WWE, even a backstage thing. He deserves to retire back in WWE. I'm not aware of any WWE interest in him either. Spider-Man says it's good to see an authority figure stepping up to Roman. Since Shane McMahon on SmackDown in 2016, that authority figure didn't step up to the heel champion. I would say Daniel Bryan, who was working with him, was pretty good in that spot, but I do agree, there's not been much stepping up. Paige never seemed to get too involved in it, even though I really liked her as a GM as well. Tristan says, my man Tom, will Bron Breakker debut on the main roster after WrestleMania 40? Possible. I can't say for sure, don't know. Eric says, I was laughing when I saw MJF getting good odds to win the Rumble. See, that is reporting feeding betting odds and feeding it in a way that people might well lose money because of reporting that will likely prove not true. That's just based on who's reporting it, by the way. Riyadh says Naomi showing up as a Rumble would be great for TNA. Yes, it would, and that's why they're open to the concept. HCar says, any news when we're going to see Jerry Lawler on the pre-show? Well, Triple H not a fan, so we'll likely see him a bit, but not as much as we used to. Blair says Dom and Rhea have real chemistry. They should make a romantic comedy with them. That could be fun. I wouldn't hate it. Wouldn't hate it. HCar says, hope you and your family get better soon. Me too. I really hope so. Razar says, Naomi started with TNA in April and her contract is already coming up. Does TNA do their contracts differently? Naomi does her contracts differently. To my knowledge, there was always a consistent negotiation. WWE always were open about the fact that they wanted her back. I'm confident at most her deal was 1 year so that she could prove herself and then return. Riyadh says, I think a Jinder win tonight will hinder your sickness. It absolutely will not. Chris says, supposedly Hunter, Bailey and Mercedes were all hard to kill. I can confirm 2 of those. I can't confirm Triple H. King Azza says, Tom, what if WWE swerves the fans and has someone else win the Rumble? Would it be a good choice? Would it be swerving the fans if they haven't told anyone who's going to win the Rumble? If I say to you, I'm going to randomly pick one of you to win £100, would I be swerving you by then doing as I said and picking one of you? The WWE have not told us who's going to win the Rumble. There's no swerve there. Bless says, what wrestler did you pretend to be when you were a kid? Okay, so this is awkward to point out. I was mostly the ref. I'm very happy about that. I think this was the OCD coming out in a controlled manner. Yeah, I think that's what happened. Yeah. Spiderball says there is good chemistry between Jey Uso and Rhea. A romantic storyline would be cool to see. When it comes to Rhea, the romantic storyline isn't so romantic, and I respect it. Selvik says, apparently TNA tapings on 19th and 20th of January, and Naomi's last match is on TNA, or are there more dates for her in TNA? Selvik, can I ask your source for the apparently there? You've said, apparently this is happening, you haven't given me a source on it. Can you source it, please? Martin says, hope you do a watch along on Friday 26th. Going to Spurs game, travelling back home after, so 5-hour drive, I need to be awake. At the moment, as you likely know, I'm not doing the SmackDown watch parties for a number of reasons. Firstly, still bad. That's the main one. But also, there was a debut on SmackDown that's made me wonder if I'm really doing all this for, like, shits and giggles. Just infuriating. Can I just double check, Selvik? Because I did read the PWInsider report. Did it mention the tapings on the 19th and 20th of January being the last ones? Okay, just want to double check. There may have been an update that I haven't seen. Cheers, Martin. Appreciate that. Riyadh says, if Damien tries to cash in tonight, I hope there's a spot where R-Truth steals a briefcase from Priest and tries to cash in himself. That wouldn't really be a cash in then, would it? Tristan says, did MJF secretly sign with AEW, or is his AEW contract up soon? MJF knows that. Ed says, can to confirm they're doing tapings next week as Astrid will be there. I believe she'll also be at the Royal Rumble. Spiderbell says, when I saw Mercedes Money and Bayley at TNA Hard to Kill pay-per-view, I just wondered how long until clickbaits would appear. Seconds. Seconds. You knew it full well. Seconds. Martin says, probably missed this to be honest already, but Ziggler in New Japan to TNA in a week. He is in fact in both, yes. And he's basically still a free agent. He's very much still a free agent. But we'll talk about that in a moment. The Vince McMahon Netflix documentary, Dave Meltzer has been interviewed and he has stated that he will be seeing this documentary sooner than you would think. I can confirm that Dave Meltzer, Eric Bischoff, Paul Heyman have all been interviewed. I could also, this is just speculation on my part, I could also see Wade Keller involved, given his experience with Vince McMahon as well. But that should be debuting on Netflix soon. Honestly, I'm excited for it. Thank you, Sovik. Appreciate that. Says, we are told Trinity had several more days of promotion, did not finish up yesterday at TV. TNA has TV tapings this Friday. PWInsider said this. All right. So, to be clear, PWInsider has not said that those tapings will be her last. PWInsider have said she has more dates. She's not finished. There are tapings on this date. Those are two separate things. My predictions, Blair, are already live on the channel. By all means, check them out. Thank you, Tristan. Appreciate that. We have 54 likes right now and 88 people watching. One more to 55. One more. Just one more. Can we do one more? No age card, nothing on this one. As regards Butch, the idea of moving him back to Pete Dunne has been mentioned for years now. Basically, ever since Triple H took charge. Bailey says, is Netflix interested in the Raw TV contract? To my knowledge, no, they are not. They are not operating at a great amount of money and simply do not have the funding required to actually bring a TV show like Raw to the Netflix style. Moises says, how do you think Moose would be booked in WWE? Same way Apollo Crews was. Blair says, which 90s WCW wrestler would match up against CM Punk? None of them. He's very modern. No age car, nothing. I don't have Raw TV contract stuff here. I had a bit ahead of time for the SmackDown one because I did have contacts on the good old-fashioned Fox side. Those contacts will still be there, but they'll be for different news now. Spiderboss says, R-Truth adds some comedy to the Judgment Day and it's funny. Yeah, I agree. Daz, we actually have 57 right now, so appreciate it. And we continue to grow. Jack Perry Jack Perry has now debuted at New Japan. He also has a bit of a roaming contract. He is not done with AEW. To my knowledge, I've reached out to a number of people in AEW. To my knowledge, he is still under AEW contract. His suspension is lifted and he's essentially been loaned out. This is a concept that a number of people in AEW are exploring, the idea of, much like a football team here in the UK, being loaned out to a different promotion to help that promotion grow. New Japan is one of them, particularly New Japan Strong. It also includes a number of others, TNA being one of them. The WWE naturally are not involved in this. This is why I mentioned him earlier incorrectly. He has not debuted at TNA, he has debuted at New Japan. He will be working with a number of people. Shota Umino has of course been mooted, which is not a surprise to anyone based on what's happened. This will take him both to New Japan and to AEW. It is a cross-promotional feud, much like they did with Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega. It's obviously not to that level, but it's a great opportunity for someone like Jack Perry to really make a statement and to escape a lot of the stigma that he has previously experienced. Alyssa says, is Amazon Prime going to Raw? Definitely not. Amazon Prime does not go anywhere. It is in fact Amazon Prime. Mine says, are you considering changing watch-alongs up or ending them once? Well, will that include PLEs? Just wondering, but health is most important, mate. I'm considering my options. I will be live for the Royal Rumble, I can promise you that. I'm expecting to sort of relaunch there, but it does depend how I feel at the time. I just want to get better, and staying up until 3 a.m, not going to help. Not going to help. Riyadh says, Tom, do you have any news on Tama Tonga? Nope, nothing at this point in time. My sources in New Japan, relatively limited. So with 19 minutes to the hour, that is our news and that is our spoiler warning. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone who has joined us. Repeated 87 viewers here, 59 likes. I want to say a massive thank you to all of you who've been checking out the channel content beyond the live shows as well. There is plenty at the moment that you can check out. The Undertaker video has almost reached 2,000 views. Few fun facts there. We have PLE Wednesdays where we did the rebooking, well, not the rebooking, the fantasy booking of the Women's Royal Rumble, which has done great. But more than anything, WTF Wrestling goes from strength to strength. It's done absolutely fantastic, yesterday's video, and I could not be prouder of the content that I am making and putting into this wrestling space. I will be seeing you again shortly. We will, of course, have more videos on Wednesday, Thursday, spoiler warning on Friday, and Sunday as well. In the meantime, though, I've been Tom Colohue. You've been fantastic, and I'll see you all very soon.